inside another dimension, face battling barbarians and evil magic on a quest for adventure in a maze of monsters. Once you get into it, you'll never be the same. Hero Quest. Now with 2 new adventure packs, the legend grows.
Hi, welcome back to Not Your Mother's Hobbies. Today we got the Druid runner-up in our poll. It is another one of the Mythic tier pre-order bonuses, an extra character class, the Druid. She's got a pretty simple sculpt going on, but it's going to allow us to experiment with color and volumes a lot. So let's get to it. First things first, let's tackle all the greenery she's got on her. We're going to use orc flesh, thinned down to about, I think it's a 2-to-1. So 2 parts water, 1 part orc flesh. We're just going to do a little glazing action on here. With our zenithal going on, we have a nice bright undercoat. And so our glaze is going to be nice and bright. So just go around on all the greenery. So the big chunky leaves that she's got going on, kind of looks like a hula dancer. But I guess more fantastical. I like them. I like those big chunky leaves. I think they're pretty cool. So just go all around and hit all these green bits with your thinned down orc flesh.
Just want to sit back and listen to some great music. So stay tuned for more.
So she's got a few little decorations in her hair, one of them being this little mossy patch. So we're going to use Mantis Warrior's Green on this for a nice bright green. The next one being this little flower on the side. We're going to use Blood Angel's Red for multiple things, but we'll start with that flower. And here you can see what else we're going to use that red on. We're going to do a thinned down mix, and we're just going to glaze it up and using some water, feather it, mix it in about halfway. Because if you check the artwork, you can see that the leaves have a red transition to them. So that's what we're going to do here. So we're going to do that red transition. Do a couple coats, just going further down, less and less of the leaf, and you'll get a more vibrant red. Here we got our boy Snakebite Leather. Always got to make an appearance in almost every single video. Use it all the time. One of my favorites. We're putting it on the wood here. It's not going to be leather, going to be the wood. Works great for leather, but as you've seen time and time again before, it is a great wood color. So we're going to put that on this staff. You could do this little part here as a vine, but the artwork doesn't indicate it as anything else, so I just did more wood. Black Templar here for her hair. So she's got this braid that comes down, goes up the back of her neck and wraps around her head. You can see it right there, it's wrapping around. So we're going to use this Black Templar for her hair. Just take your time, block it out, and you'll be done in no time. Okay, Skeleton Horde here for all of the ropes and wrappings. She's got a lot of them, so just take your time, eyeball them, go around one by one, and pop those suckers in. She does have a lot of these vines. Be wary of her feet. Her feet have tons of them, and the sculpt might not be the best in that area, so do your best judgment and try to catch all the ones that you see. If your sculpt is missing it, don't worry about it. Just get the most prominent ones. Right, Wildwood here for this little bag. We're going to differentiate our bag from our wood by just doing a bit of a darker or different color brown in here. And we're also going to use that for the satchel loops, or I guess the handle. Element Flesh for all of our flesh bits. She's got a lot. She is a druidess. She's comfortable in her own skin. So just go around and hit all that skin with our Guilliman Flesh. One of the really great things about this sculpt, the bonuses to all that wrapping, is the skin is sectioned off, so you don't have to stress too much about pooling because you've got these little chunks and segments that you can go in and get your skin going on. If it was the opposite and you just had all these large, round, voluminous shapes, it could be a lot tougher to mitigate the pooling and avoiding tide marks and streaks and stuff like that. Lastly, we're going to use this Griffhound Orange for her wild shape transformation. She's got a tiger claw or tiger paw going on. Alright, we're going to use our tried and true dollar store white here. And, you know, you don't have to be too clean with this because she's a lot of skin. We are going to touch that up. But try to stick this to the topmost areas of the leaves and whatnot. You can touch up on that staff as well to just bring out some detail. But yeah, just go on here with a little dry brush all over the place. Get that hair, get the leaves, get the flower, make things pop. Don't got to worry about accuracy at all on this one. Okay, here we're coming back with Orc Flesh. We're doing another glaze. This one's going to be way thinner, way thinner. You can see we're doing a 4-to-1 mix of water to Orc Flesh. And it's really just to keep those highlights that we dry brushed in and to reestablish our green. Just make it bright. And one thing I do want to mention is that I do not highlight up the red on this miniature through the video. And that's something that I regret not doing. I think you could totally get away with doing that on your miniature. Just take maybe a Mephiston red or something and just go in and highlight just the tips of those leaves to really enhance that red. If I could go back, totally would do it, but hey, we're moving on. Here we got Cadian Flesh. We're going to reestablish the mid-tone, clean up any pooling or streaks, any tide marks. You can see here that she is quite dark in some areas, and we do have some streaks. Just go over it with like 2 layers, maybe 3. Just reestablish those midtones. Take care of it. It's all sectioned off. It's very simple. This is baby's first introduction to voluminous areas like her thighs and whatnot. So because it's all chunked off, blocked off, you can really take your time. If you're feeling like you need some more reference, you can always go back to that Barbarian video, which I feel like was really good reference for musculature and getting where the light's going to come on these voluminous areas. Here we go with Kislev Flesh. We're going to go in here and touch up the belly. You can see I'm going to totally avoid a section and just move right over the hip. Also want to take a little moment to apologize for the crappy quality here. The focus is all wrong. I do fix it in a little bit. Hopefully we've seen enough skin to kind of get the idea. Here we are coming in with our final skin highlight, the one that makes everything shiny. And hey, look at that, our focus is fixed. But yeah, so we're going to use Pallid Witch Flesh like we usually do. But she, again, has a lot of voluminous areas. And you'll see how I might tackle that a little bit different. Here we're just doing the face, as usual. Don't forget she has a little bit forehead area there that's peeking out under that moss. Take your time. Here you can see this round shoulder. We're just going to cover more area than we normally would because there's not a lot of defined muscle. We're just going to make the shapes very nice and round. You can see that we didn't go under the belly button there, only on top, and that's going to make it seem like a nice round belly. And the thighs here, we just do a wider highlight covering more area, and that's going to make things very round, shiny, and voluminous. Just like with the Barbarian, we're using a very thinned down Agrax Earthshade to do our tinting. We're going to tint her to make her tanned. You could use a Reikland Flesh Shade to give a more warm tone to the skin. And you know what, next time we do tan skin, I'll do the Reikland Flesh Shade. I'll show you how that's going to look. We do have those mercenaries coming up from the Frozen Horror expansion. We can experiment with some more skin tones there. But for now, we're using Agrax Earthshade, and just make sure that you're tinting and not shading. You want to avoid pooling here. Not a lot of extra touches to go on, but we do have that tiger hand, and it is missing its stripes. So we're going to paint in those stripes with some Black Templar. Just go nice and slow, your thinnest brush you got, and just paint in some lines. They can be thin, thick, all sorts of shapes. You can see I did a thicker one there. All kinds. Just don't crowd them too much and space them out. It'll look pretty cool. And then we do our standard basing for this series, just paint, texture paint, dry brush, shade, and a dry brush. Et voila! Check it out. Here we go, our Druid. Looking pretty cool. And like I said before, I do regret not putting a layer of, red highlight at the bottom of those leaves. So if you're following along, you're doing your own, I recommend you do it. I think it'll look really cool to make those leaves pop out a little more. But other than that, we got a pretty cool looking miniature here. The second of the Mythic tier pre-order heroes. Hopefully they come out in an expansion coming up soon. I think some leaks have been made recently that the narrative campaign expansions from the pre-order are going to be publicly available or publicly purchasable. So who knows what they're going to come with. Maybe they'll come with these or a version of these, and you'll get to do your own. If you do have this miniature, let me know if you're painting it down below. Let me know if you're painting it different. Let me know how your Hero Quest journey is going so far. Next up, we got the Bard. I'm not a fan of the Bard, so we'll see what happens there. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, alright? Bye-bye!